Ben Mckay is a 24-year-old stand-up comedian and dumb little baby boy. And you are listening to his podcast. Each episode, Ben uses Reddit to learn life lessons. Today, Ben talks about Neighbours.
Okay, here we go. Each of these I'm going to pick one aspect of my life that I feel like could be improved. And then I'm going to reflect on it, try and learn, and I'm going to go on Reddit, and I'm going to see what I can find. Who knows if this structure will stay, but this is where we're starting, and maybe something will come of it. I don't know. I found some good stories, though. I've never had good relationships with my neighbors, though. That's why I picked it to start. I've always had kind of bad ones. The worst one I had this neighbor for a while who would not stop accusing me of smoking meth in my apartment. It was constant. I'd lived there about 3 months before it started. And one day I was leaving my place at like 6 p.m. and it was an apartment, so I was going into the hallway. And I noticed that there was a note pinned to my door. And I'll read you the note. It said, "Dude, that's not weed you're smoking. It's messing with my health and my service dog's health and my cat's health. You want to drug up? Fine with me, but don't do it in the building. Go outside. Christine, 106. And if you're wondering, real name, real unit number. Who cares? I don't know. No one's watching this. First of all, I wasn't. There was no meth in my apartment. It was, I don't know where she got this idea, but the worst part about this was that she had pinned the note facing out, like into the hallway. And this was late in the day. It was like 6 o'clock when I was leaving. So all the other people in the building probably had seen it. Now I'm the meth guy in the building. So that for the weeks after that, I was trying to like really prove to everyone how not methy I was while I was walking around being like, "Hey neighbor, just went to the dentist, check out all my teeth." I wrote her a note back and I slid it under her door, you know, where notes go. I didn't pin it to the outside like it's some public notice. Like I'm Martin Luther, and it's my 96 Theses to the Catholic Church. But I wrote her a note and it was just like, "Hey, not smoking in the apartment, especially not meth. Let me know in the future if you have problems, just text me," you know, so she wouldn't be leaving these things out. And thank God I gave her my phone number because she turned out to be such a good pen pal. She texted me all the time for the next few months. She was all the time. My favorite text, maybe I'll put it in the screen because this is a real text. She goes, "There was no smell of meth while you were away or when your girlfriend was here. Walking by your unit, it has always smelled like teenaged boy in the mornings, unless it's meth. And it has on and off for the last 3 months. Doesn't smell like teenage hormones. Definitely coming from your unit. I tried giving you the benefit of the doubt." Don't smell my hormones, please. That's such a weird text. It's just like, "You're definitely smoking meth. Also, your apartment smells like cum a little." It's kind of sweaty cum always, but lately also meth. What a refined nose. You ever be so stinky that people start to think you're smoking meth instead? I don't know. I'm trying to learn lessons from all of these, though. Even this one's probably mostly her fault, but to be fair, I was living a little wild at the time. You know, I was keeping strange hours, and I didn't look the best. And believe it or not, I was even skinnier then. I had about 10 pounds less. So maybe the rule here: don't live your life in a way that people can easily confuse you for a crackhead. Pretty good lesson. Okay. Now I got some stories from Reddit. These are sick. Number 1, am I the asshole for killing my neighbor's dog? I, female 25, have this neighbor, male 32, whose dog always digs holes in my backyard, destroying my flower beds and fighting my cat. I've told my neighbor several times to control his dog when we, my neighbor and I, were having intimate moments with each other. Yes! Hell yeah! And sometimes these titles, they're a bit like clickbaity to get you to read them. You know, am I the asshole for killing my neighbor's dog? And then maybe, you know, it's not quite that simple. But this one is that simple. And she also left out the fact that she was fucking her neighbor. There was That's so awesome. Also, I love that she said, I've told my neighbor several times to control his dog when we were having intimate moments with each other. Wow, they were having sex? That's crazy. How do you bring that up? He's like, turn around, baby, let's do doggy. And she's like, actually, speaking of doggy, could we? Okay. Although I keep asking him to control his dog, he has never done so. I plan to take action to stop the dog from destroying my property by putting minced garlic over the flowers. Unfortunately, as a result of this plan, the dog had eaten over the amount the dogs can eat and passed away. This story is ready for court. I like the way she worded that. As a result of me leaving out the poison, the dog ate the poison and was poisoned. My neighbor, who I've had special relationships with, came over to my home crying and cussing me out because I'm the only person who has ever complained about his dog before. I don't want our relationship to end because the intimacy is so good, so I never admitted to killing his dog, but I feel so guilty. I really don't know what to do. I value our relationship, but the guilt is eating me up inside. Please give me insight. I kind of don't think she feels that bad about it. I think she realized that killing the dog means she can't fuck her neighbor anymore, and she's sad about that. But I don't know if she really does feel guilty. I guess, though, here's the lesson. Compromise. I think everything with neighbors is just about compromising, sharing, learning what you can put up with, you know? You can either have intact flower beds or you can get good neighbor dick. You can't have both. It's asking a lot to have both. You're lucky to have either. Also, another lesson, garlic kills dogs? I didn't know that. That's strange. That doesn't feel... It feels like dogs would eat garlic all the time. Dogs are little vampires running around. It's so sick. I guess if I really wanted to hurt Christine's service dog's health, I could have just tossed a couple cloves under the door. I didn't need to smoke all that meth. When I was a kid, I had a bad neighbor dog situation. I don't really remember this, but my dad told me about it. We lived in Listowel, which is a tiny town in Canada, in Ontario. It's actually the town that Letterkenny's based off, if you know that. So it's like a shit place. But our neighbors were apparently selling meth, and they had this pit bull that was like, protection a little bit. At least this is what my dad told me. He might have been just being a Christine about the whole situation, actually. But I guess this pit bull was dangerous. They didn't train it, and it had bit an old man, put an old man in the hospital. But I guess they still couldn't get the police to do anything. I don't know. I don't know all the details. But anyways, what it came down to is our other neighbor decided he was going to poison that dog because he was worried about all the kids in the neighborhood or whatever. feels extreme. I don't know. But so he put rat poison into a hamburger, threw it over the fence. They said they watched the dog eat it, but then the dog didn't die. He used real poison. Could have used garlic. That's crazy. He could have made like a genuinely delicious burger. That dog would have been out. That would have been it for that dog, but no, went for the real poison like an idiot, and now it's still alive. Okay, story number 2. How can I make my yard smell bad? New neighbors have planted a rooster outside my bedroom window, which wakes me up as early as 4 a.m. I've tried talking and emailing with them. They seem to think it's funny and like to rub it in our face. Roosters are allowed in our rural area, but no other neighbors have ever had them, as we feel it is rude and inconsiderate. I would feel horrible if something I did on my property woke a neighbor up in the middle of the night. Being noisy too or blasting music in retaliation is not possible, as I wouldn't want to affect the other neighbors in the area. However, since I no longer go into my backyard, I wouldn't mind if it smelled offensive. I think the other neighbors are far enough away that they wouldn't be too bothered. Any ideas? How can I make my yard and fence line stink? I'm thinking about having manure delivered, but does it really smell? Also thought of dumping rotting fish or chicken. What smells really bad? I like that this one is like it's kind of a neighbor thing, but that's not really what she's at. She's just like, I've already decided we're stinking them out. What smells bad? Help me with that. This isn't really asking for neighbor advice. It's asking for smell advice. From the get-go, I was really with this person. I was like, rooster outside the window, that's brutal. I would hate that, right? But as it went on, I started to lose faith in the author of this a little bit. Just because they were like, I live in a rural area, but I no longer use my backyard. That's strange, right? You're an indoor cat on the farm? What's going on? Just go into your backyard. Feels like you're a little uptight if you're not using your yard in a rural area. But they both can be weird. The rooster is still bad outside the window. I don't know, though. Putting a rotting chicken, if you're this quick. This is like 200 words, and she's already to like, let's put rotting fish and chicken outside the window. You know? Rotting chicken is especially bad because this is a rooster. That's crazy. If some teens were beating too loud, you couldn't like kill a person and stink them out with that. That's morbid as hell. I don't know. That being said, I think real advice, you really want some advice, maybe try smoking meth. Neighbors hate that, in my experience. Maybe they might think it's teenage hormones for a few months, but after a while they'll be like, that's not calm, that's meth, and I'm going to put my rooster away. Okay, problem solved. Let's keep going. Okay, story number 3, my not so nice neighbors. This is the story of my not so nice neighbors. I, 14 male, moved into my house about 5 years ago. Young gun. I like that. Moved into my house 5 years ago. When you were 9, dude. That's crazy. How do you even remember? It's hilarious that 14-year-olds are on Reddit. That's so concerning. That's so concerning, especially because even finding these neighbor things, if you put neighbor anything, I was looking for these through Reddit, it's just so much porn. It's next door neighbor, step uncle, you know, it's crazy. So this kid's messed up already, but okay, he goes on. At first, all of the neighbors were nice. Then we met our next door neighbors. At first, they seemed nice. Then they threw a hissy fit about our camper being plugged in at our house and the cord going across the sidewalk. Not worth a hissy fit. Let's go 14 mil. Then they were calm until 2023, with a few instances that were probably my fault, like my friend throwing a squash into the yard or rocks being left in their yard, which I don't know who did. Now, I don't have all the details here, but I feel like it's probably the squash thing. It's like either my friend lobbed a gourd at their house, or there were pebbles that were there, and we're not sure if I put them there or that's just where they were. So I like that this is a good kid, though. He takes responsibility. He's like, some of these instances might have been my fault. The squash incident, that's on me. I take responsibility for that. Anyway, it all died down. Then came August 2023. My friends and I went and played some wiffle ball in the backyard, like we always do. And the guy who owns the house next door, who I'll call Jerry, likes to watch us back there. Oh. Why is Jerry watching the wiffle ball? That's weird. I don't know. He likes to watch it. He doesn't just, like, tolerate you playing back there. He likes to watch it. Watch out for Jerry. I don't know what this is about, But this day, he walks out while we were playing, puts up a no trespassing sign, and cusses us out. We go in because he won't even let us get a ball from his yard, and my dad goes to talk to him. Interesting. So a few things could have happened here. He could have been just like, I've always been annoyed by this. Or he's like, no more tempting me, you know. Jerry likes to watch. I'm going to do something about it. Or maybe they're 14 now. Maybe he outgrew him. Maybe Jerry likes him 9 to 13. He's like, gross, dude. These old 14-year-olds are in my yard. This isn't hot at all anymore. Yeah, the dad's going over. That didn't turn out well. But we... I love the way he writes. That didn't turn out well. But we went back and played football there. He got mad and told us to get out of his yard, which we were not in, so we went to tell my mom. She went over to talk to him and showed him the property line, which he didn't care about. So we go back to playing, and he said we couldn't be in our own yard, and he would call the cops if we didn't leave. He said this was because we didn't let his son, who I'll call Tom, into the garage. Now, there is something you should know about Tom, and that is that Tom likes to go through our stuff while waiting for the bus to come. When we first moved in, he broke our paddle boat by playing with it and going into our yard just randomly without asking. Couple things here. I mean, one, cute. Kind of cute that he gave Tom and Jerry. That's fun. Little cat and mouse. Little cat and pedophile. I don't know, though. I'm worried about Tom a little. I am worried about Tom a little bit. Sounds like Jerry's. I don't know. This is what I've determined. Jerry's unsafe. It sounds like Tom's just trying to hide in your garage. Maybe he was trying to steal your boat so he could sail away to a better life. Help Tom. Anyways, this got my parents pissed, and now we don't clear the sidewalks in front of their house. Hell yeah. Oh, no way I'm leaving that in. That's brutal. It's recently cooled down other than Tom telling the little kids on the bus, including my sister, that Santa isn't real. These kids are in kindergarten. I'll keep the sub updated with any new developments. Any advice on how to deal with this would be much appreciated. I like that to a 14-year-old. He has not noticed that Jerry likes to watch, but he's like, don't tell kids about Santa. Protect the kids. You gotta watch out for yourself, buddy. You might actually be in trouble here. I don't know. This 14-year-old, he seems to be taking on a lot as a 14-year-old. The neighbor issues, like, any new developments, and I'll keep the sub updated. Chill, buddy. You're 14. Go play some wiffle ball. He might watch, but, stay in groups. But I like it. Lessons from this story. Check the sex offender registries in your neighborhood. This might be a whole different... You might be able to watch this from a different angle, had that been the case. Lessons from this story. Help Tom. Get Tom the hell out of there. I don't care if he told the kids about Santa. Bigger things are going on. I don't know. The shared yard is weird. It's strange. It's always kind of strange, especially if there's no clear division. I lived in this house for a while. There was 5 of us, 5 comedians, 1 bathroom. 5 dudes, 1 bathroom. It was brutal. So a lot of days when you get up, someone would be in the shower, someone would be taking a shit, so you couldn't pee. And when that would happen, I would try and hold it. If I couldn't hold it, first stop, I would try and pee in the kitchen sink, which is gross, but I wouldn't, not all the way gross, because if there were dishes, then I wouldn't. So only if I could clean it out quick, right after. Rinse it out, but if the dishes were there, which usually there were. I mean, this house was a bit chaotic. Then I would go pee behind the dumpster behind our house. And one time I remember it was the summer. I go out, I'm hungover, tunnel vision, right? I just got to go pee. So I get behind the dumpster, I pee, and then I come out. And I go, it's sort of step into, there was sort of a joined alley with us in the next house. And I look over at the other side. There's a full family barbecue going on. They got people over. There's the elderly. There's children. And I'm just standing there they were watching me. I was guarded enough. But as I came out, it kind of, the sewer was in the alley. So the pee is trickling down. I'm just standing there, my own peas coming, chasing me down there. I'd be like, oh, hey, neighbor, They were not big fans of us, and rightly so. That was disrespectful. I also peed off our roof there into that same alley once. And then the cops did show up later, so probably that was them. So, I don't know. They kind of, maybe they suck. I gotta stop doing that. Okay, next story. Why do my neighbors keep selling up but not moving? This one's weird, but probably a rational explanation exists. Hope not. I want it to be mysterious. This guy's cool. Every 4 to 5 months for the last 5 years or so, 2 different for sale signs appear on a house near me. With the exception of the last sale, the house never appears on the website of either company the signs are for. Now comes the really odd bit. After a period, maybe a month or so, the sold signs go up and they move out. A massive skip turns up and everything goes into it. I mean, carpets, curtains, light shades, kitchen shit, everything. The skip gets collected. The house then sits clearly and visibly empty for 10 days until the exact same family moves back in. Same cars and everything. A shit ton of Amazon, IKEA, and DFS packaging appears for recycling. The new stuff goes up, and the cycle repeats a few months later. Signs up, everything in a skip, and off they fuck. The only other thing of note is that since I've been paying close attention, covertly, I've noticed that the signs appear to be the exact same ones. Not just the same design, but the same scratches in the same places, etc. Also, they had a load of decorating done, at night, with the curtains shut. Spotted the decorators and possibly a Sparky about 1 a.m. going in the door, and I could see other workers inside. They're good friends with the people on the corner, who in the last 12 months have had their garden landscaped twice, have had both their roof and patio professionally jet washed 4 times, their lawn turfed, removed, replaced with AstroTurf, that turnout, returfed, and decked. During one of these works, they had a hired cement mixer turn up during work hours, and it was clean and unused when it went back a week later than when it arrived. So they're obviously making a display of spending money, presumably to clean it up, but I can't get my head around the other people in the house and the sale thing. Any ideas? I don't know. There's a lot of evidence there. I hope your evidence is real. That's very cool if it is. At first I didn't believe this first. At first I was like, is it possible maybe just like two Chinese families moved into the same house and and you can't tell the difference? Is it possible you just suck and you're searching? Is it possible you're a bored housewife and you're just taking crazy amounts of pills and you have no idea what's going on? But no, this seems like a lot of stuff. I'd say fucking mind your own business. This seems like a big operation. This seems like something I'd stay out of if I were you. I don't know. The same family on the corner, though. The other family they're friends with, they're getting all this stuff. Maybe you do that. Maybe you get it. Also, they said last time it was on the website. So maybe next time it's on the website, maybe set up an appointment. Maybe go take a tour, you know? I don't know. I don't really understand this one, to be honest. I should probably take this one out. It's weird, though. I don't, maybe let me know if you understand it. All the comments were like, oh, it's movie stuff, but that doesn't seem, what is a cement mixer there then? I don't. Okay, last one. How do I get rid of an annoying neighbor nicely? I know this might sound harsh, but my neighbor won't leave me alone and I'm getting fed up of it. A bit of backstory is after leaving a bad relationship, I moved into a block of flats for 55 plus. I had to get special permission from the council to buy this flat and live there. Inside the block of flats, there are 3 other occupants all above the age of 60. The flats are safe due to needing to get through 2 metal doors with a key fob, then my own front door, which makes it safer than a house for me personally. Also, because it's not on Google Maps, there's no issue with my ex finding it, and it's complicated to get to. The other occupants do love to chat when we catch each other, which I don't mind, but this one neighbor kind of takes it to the extreme. First of all, I didn't know this kind of place existed. There's secret old people out there? Weird. I don't know. Anyway, sorry about your ex, so. Bit of backstory about her. She is 63 years old, does not work, has family that come around often to see her. She gets out and is mobile. This is a list of things she does that annoys me the most. She comes up to my flat every day for a cup of tea as soon as I get home from work and stays an hour, sometimes longer. She waits for me every morning outside smoking before I go to work for a chit-chat, and she is there when I get back from work waiting for me. She will then proceed to follow me up to my flat and walk in after me. She smokes inside my flat, and I don't do this ever. I don't even smoke. I love that. 63 is not old enough to get away with that. That is insane behavior. Just walking in after someone smoking in someone else's apartment. Also, if she's waiting out there smoking and she's smoking after work, that sounds like she goes outside her apartment to smoke. It sounds like she might only smoke in your apartment. I often go for weekends away with my friends, and she will often ask when I am taking her away or where was her invite. I thought she was joking until recently she told me she thinks it's unfair I'm leaving her all the time, and I was flabbergasted. Very British, this one. Flabbergasted. In my flat. I was flabbergasted. In my flat. She gets annoyed if any of the other neighbors come into my flat and will send texts asking me to be quiet or to keep the noise down, when in reality all I am doing is helping my neighbor do her meter readings or the odd job. Again, I don't mind as they take a few minutes. Several times she has woken me up at 11 p.m. on a weekday when I had to be up at 6 a.m. for work, telling me it's an emergency and I had to take her somewhere. Last time it was the pharmacy due to a water infection. She made out she was going to the hospital and directed me there, and as I'm still getting used to the area, I didn't know where she was directing me. Sometimes it's because she can hear shouting outside. Oh, she makes you go down because she can hear shouting outside. What's a water infection? That's crazy. This lady's nuts, though. Also, whoever wrote this, I'm sorry that this is happening to you. But also, your grammar sucks. I'm really putting your sentences together and rewriting it as I go. She will complain if I bring home a McDonald's for myself. A McDonald's for myself? I hope that's not a British thing. A McDonald's for myself? That's brutal. You guys don't deserve McDonald's. I don't want to. This is the worst. She'll complain if I bring home a McDonald's for myself and didn't ask her if she wanted one, or if I go out for food with my friends and don't invite her. If I am on the phone, she pops up. She tells me to end it as she needs to speak to me. She has often come up to my flat when I'm showering, fake tanning, or getting ready to go out. She'll just make herself at home. When I have asked her to leave in the past, she'll complain, calling me rude, and then proceeds to talk bad about me with the other neighbors. I do her a favor every night at 9 p.m. I stand outside while she smokes because she does not like to be on her own in the dark. So she doesn't smoke in her own apartment. She only smokes in your apartment. That's so funny. This lady is bullying you. You can't. You're 55. You gotta stand up for yourself a bit here. Like, she's nuts for doing this, but also you're definitely being too nice. The thing that is the cherry on top of the cake is I have always left a spare key under my mat as an emergency. I only found it recently she's been using it to go in and out of my flat to go to the toilet, as her bathroom is currently being redone. This was not agreed upon or discussed, and I only found out about it due to my neighbor who showed me her front door camera. She only recently got this, and we don't know if she's been popping in and out for as long as I've lived there. I don't know. You're being pushed around a lot. You got to stand up for yourself here. That is brutal. Also, though, you're like, I need 2 key fobs. I can't be on Google Maps, but you're just leaving a key under your mat. It's kind of weird. Feels like you could have hit it better. My key is now missing, and it is on her keychain. I know I'm going to have to change my locks, but how can I nicely tell her to back the heck off? I'm sick of having zero privacy. I can't clean, have a meal, or relax without her there constantly watching me. I live above her, so she can hear me walking around when my TV's on, etc. I feel like I'm being watched all the time, and it's really unsettling. I don't want to hurt this woman's feelings, as she is a lovely lady, but I'm thinking of selling and leaving because of her. Is she a lovely lady? That's great. Sounds like she's the worst, actually. I don't know. Don't sell and leave. Just tell her to fuck off. You don't have to be that nice about it. You can be a little strict. She'll be mad for a bit. I don't know. Also, though, it sounds like you're very close with her. It sounds like she's rich. You know, she doesn't work. She's got people coming around. It sounds like probably she's a rich old lady. She smokes. She might be dead by 70, dude. You check and see before you move. Check and see if you're in her will, because it's possible. Maybe try and get yourself in there. If you can get in the will, maybe then pretend you don't know about the door. Maybe leave a bag of marbles loose on the floor, right? She opens your door to come in to use your toilet. She falls, breaks her hip. In the hospital, she's out of your hair, right? Or better yet, maybe that's the end of her. Maybe you are on the will. Maybe you're rich now. You're welcome. Don't kill anybody, though. That'd be bad. But I don't know. Check it out. It's worth finding out. Maybe you're in the well. Who knows? Maybe she's a smoker, though. She might not be able to live independently that long. So maybe you only have to wait her out a few years. Or maybe you'll end up taking care of her. That's possible. Sounds like you're a bit of a pushover, so I don't know. Lessons. You gotta push back sometimes against your neighbors here. I think all of them, that was all the stories. I think they're all about compromising. You can have good dick or flower beds, right? You can either smell like hormones or be considered a meth head, right? You can have a good smelling yard or quiet mornings. What were the other ones? Oh, you can play wiffle ball, but you might have a couple priest types in the spectator seats. Bleachers. That's what I was looking for there. I don't know. You can have some neighbors. Actually, the one with the weird crime, that was just strange. There's no problem there. And you can either man up and put your neighbor in the hospital, or you can have inconvenient tea with her while she smokes in your apartment. I kind of thought that wrap up would be cool, or I was kind of getting ready to be like, at the end, I'm going to wrap it up real tight. And I didn't like that very much, but I don't know. Let me know. If you liked any of this, let me know what you liked. If you didn't like stuff, tell me that too. You're probably one of the only ones watching, so I will change it for you. I don't know. This was fun though. I liked it. Hopefully I'll do some more of them. Follow me on Instagram. send me messages. I don't know. Comment. I don't know. But help. Okay.